Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today, as you could tell from the title, this unemployed millennial is moving back with her parents. That's my mom's face right now. She's like, yeah! Okay, so here's kind of my situation. I'm currently living in Los Angeles. I graduated from USC, the University of Southern California, the very well-known one now for all the scandals. I graduated about a year ago, and now I am going to temporarily, but also just am going to move back home with my parents in Alaska. That's done with, I guess. Throughout posting about my experiences over the past year, I've realized that there are a lot of people in the exact same position. And if you find yourself in the same position, or if you're thinking about putting yourself in this position where you're kind of unemployed or like maybe moving back home with your parents or just in a transition period, I think this is one of the best things that I could have done for myself. I actually even started using that term unemployed millennial to clickbait like myself, which some people get really mad about. I do make some money through YouTube, not enough to make a living, but I do have some income from there. But I think it's a cool term, unemployed millennial, and that is kind of what I am. I'm not employed. If you were to ask me 1 year ago how I would feel about that, it would probably be my biggest fear, but I no longer have that major concern. And I'm excited to kind of tell you guys why. Basically, what I've been doing in the last year is a year ago, I tried starting this company called Shutter with a friend, and kind of 6 months into it, I kind of realized that it wasn't gonna work out with us together. And so after I decided to kind of step away from that, I was like, well, shit, what am I gonna do now? I saved up enough for 1 year to kind of make things work with Shutter and figure it out. From that point on, I kind of just decided to take the time to do whatever I wanted to. And for me, my interests are self-development, yoga, observing my own habits and patterns and other people's. I knew that this was one of the few times in my entire life in adulthood where I had just absolutely no obligations, no job, no kids, no significant other, no dog, no nothing, pretty much. No responsibilities that I absolutely had to attend to except for myself. So for the rest of the year, I just very selfishly decided to take the year just to do me. I carved out time to really just develop myself, and I really think that's what I did. I feel like I'm a new and improved version of myself from even a year ago, mentally, physically, just everything. I really have the belief that you can learn from any single experience that you have in your life. You can positively learn something from it. That's kind of how I felt about this year. I really think I made the most out of my year as an unemployed millennial. And if it continues, I'd be just as excited to grow and learn as much. I'm going to share the 3 kind of major takeaways or things that I did this year as an unemployed millennial that I think would be interesting for you guys to hear. So the first thing is I really made this decision to develop lifelong habits and routines that are healthy right now so that they will hopefully carry with me for the rest of my life. These things will also pay dividends in the future. And I'm so proud of myself for just kind of sitting down and actually tackling them and having kind of the awareness, see for myself what I was truly interested in, what really made me happy, what made me sad, my sources of confidence, just everything. I sat down and really looked at myself and was very honest and self-reflective. I really took the time to develop healthy habits. And that brings me into the second point, is your habits, patterns, and everyday routines are everything in the equation that is your life, because habits are what guide your every single day life. And it's so much easier to just implement a healthy routine and just not think about it. Towards the end of my time at Shutter, I started getting kind of stressed out because I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do if I left. I was like, oh, this is the end of the world. And so I started going to yoga almost every single day, mostly just as a stress relief and somewhere to go and have a sense of community there. That kind of developed inadvertently into a habit of mine. Every single day, pretty much, I crave going to yoga, and I go pretty much more often than I don't, more days than I don't. If I did nothing else this year, except for develop a love and passion and a habit of going to yoga, then honestly it would have been completely worth it to me, because yoga is my outlet, my source of community, my source of confidence, my source of happiness. It's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and that helps me so immensely, that I am so happy that I fell into and really dove into this year. While I don't have any obligations, I did teacher training, which is a 200-hour program. Yoga is also kind of just a cornerstone or a capstone, I don't know what they call it, habit. Just having implemented that habit into my life has affected all other kind of aspects of my life. Yoga also acts as a huge gauge for me and my health and my mindset. So along with that, I have just developed a lot healthier habits and routines, eating wise, sleeping wise. It scares me to think that there's potentially a world where I wouldn't have found or have developed a love for yoga, because it has just impacted seriously almost every single aspect of my entire life. And if you're curious, I have a yoga Instagram. I'm trying to be more regular about posting on it, but yoga has changed my life, and it's definitely just a habit that I formed to my life very happily. Those are two really important things that I've done this year, is kind of look deeper into myself and also what I do in my everyday life, and try to kind of be really self-aware and realistic about those things and what I like and don't like, and then work towards a better tomorrow, and then work towards better habits and everyday little things that really, really add up in a big way over time. So the third thing that I learned this year was to be alone, first of all, and to also love being alone. This was kind of the first year that I was living out on my own, and I wasn't in a relationship, and I wasn't on a college campus. So I really had to learn kind of just how to be very independent, and I did learn quite a few things from that. A part of being alone and learning how to be alone was learning that even as an introvert, my source of happiness also comes from deep connections and other people and community. I need exposure to people every day, even if I don't have that traditionally. If I edit all day, film all day, and don't see a single person, that's really depressing. So I'll go to a coffee shop or go to yoga, which is learning how to be very independent with other people, which I think was really important for me to learn. But I also started journaling a ton and writing. I found a passion for writing, and then I started actually writing a lot, which is also kind of something like yoga, where no one can see that, and there's really no progress that's being made visibly, but something that has really, really impacted me in a huge way. I think everyone, no matter whether you're an unemployed millennial or you're fully employed and you're a 60-year-old man, dad, I'm so funny. I kind of feel it's putting your own life into a story, you're narrating your own life. And this can be helpful for a ton of things. The cathartic aspect, I think we as humans are meant to tell stories, and we feel good about that, and having our story solidified and written down somehow helps. I'm not sure if that's legit or not, but whatever. Another thing that it really helps me with is I will have something on my mind and I'll write it down, because it's stream of consciousness, whether it's an argument or a thought that I have, and then I'll confirm it to be true later on, because I'll start writing again. I'll be oh, I remember I wrote about this. So it's really helped me to start really trusting my gut instincts and my thoughts and my first impressions, because for me that tends to be where my strong suit is. But then it's also helped me realize if I'm constantly oh, I didn't edit today or whatever is concerning me, then it's something that I'm becoming aware of and I need to work on, because I'm constantly writing this down. So that's something that I've really done a lot this year, and that has helped so much. And then I also just kind of thought about, again, what truly makes me happy is my relationships with my very close friends and family. So I, this year, really tried to nurture those relationships. So I had one of my best friends, Jerry, come stay with me in January all month. I visited my sister. I went home to visit. I'm going to try to continue this for the next few months, as I have travel plans and don't have a solid schedule to adhere to. But that's something that's made me really, really happy, because I know that there are so many times in my life when everything just gets so crazy busy and you actually cannot take the time to see your friends for extended periods of quality time. So the fact that I was able to do that, I've spent so much time with people that I genuinely deeply love, and I feel very fulfilled by that. And just building healthy habits, I want to make kind of a habit of doing that, so that I continuously can do that and like make that a priority. So over this year, I genuinely just feel like I've grown and learned so much. It's actually crazy to look back and think that it's just been a year, because it feels like it's been so much longer. Like, I feel like I've made some massive changes. I feel like I'm completely okay and confident in myself and where I'm at this current point in time. I definitely was not at one point. I think that mostly I kind of just have realized and know that I don't really want a conventional career path. So my pathway and like the route in life that I take will probably not be conventional, and I can deal with that. And I now have the tools and the ability to kind of tackle that and deal with it. So I'm really proud of myself. And I honestly, like, this year could have gone so many ways, and I think that that was like an incredibly productive use of this time. Here's kind of like why I'm moving in with my parents, if you're like an actual viewer and you're curious about my life. So really a whirlwind of events happened in July that just led me to my decision to move. The biggest was that my lease was ending this month, but honestly, up until literally like this week / last week, I had no idea what I was going to be doing. I had a bunch of kind of different options and ideas in my head. And then I also have some upcoming travels planned for like September. I couldn't like finalize a decision. So more and more I felt like LA and staying in LA and like signing for another year lease like in LA felt more like a burden. So I just decided that I would pack up my stuff, put it in storage, move back with my parents, save money on rent while I travel in September, and I'm gonna try to do some more trips to visit my friends and spend some quality time with them. I do want to keep that going, like, and keep that like something that I prioritize in my life. I'm still working on YouTube and I will be looking at full-time jobs for like the new city that I'm gonna be moving to. And I think I'm gonna like aim for like a time frame around like the new year. I'm not gonna like say where I'm moving yet. So that's pretty much what I'll be doing for like the next few months. I'm really excited. I've learned to like really appreciate and like love spending time with my parents and family, because I know that sometimes it can be kind of annoying, especially when you're like a grown adult and like you go back. But a part of like practicing gratitude, I just have realized that like they're so important to me and like I don't see them every day. So I'm looking forward to like living with them temporarily. Like I'm definitely gonna be bouncing in and out of there. I'm sad like to be leaving now. I'm like finally processing it, but I'm mostly just excited for like kind of a change and a new chapter in the story of my life. I can come back later if I want to, or if like I decide to, and I have like a good network of people that I know here and love. So that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not following me on Instagram and like Twitter and my yoga Instagram already, feel free to find those in the description box if you're interested. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!